Welcome to Operation Fishbowl, something that if you didn't live through, your grandparents probably did. Now, there's a lot of information to be said here, but basically, to break it down in one sentence, I would say late 50s, 1950s to early 1960s, the leaders of the world took the most powerful weapon that man has ever made and launched it into the ozone layer. Nukes, okay? Did I say nukes? It's nukes. They took nukes and they launched them basically into low orbit space, the atmosphere, the ozone. And there's a few reasons why they said they might have did it, but, it's commonly believed pretty much that there really was no reason. They just wanted to see what would happen when they launched nukes into the fucking sky. They essentially tried to light the atmosphere on fire just to see if they could. And that's called Operation Fishbowl, okay? I think that's the U.S. operation. Now, there's another operation, Operation K or something like that the Soviet Union did, the USSR. And yeah, no, this is nothing hidden or anything. This is not super hard to find out. You just do one Google search, bro. Search up nukes in space 1960s, okay, whatever, early 60s. And yeah, it pretty much all just involves what I just said. Oh my God, I just checked and it's literally 500 plus. 500 plus nukes. It doesn't even tell me. It just says 500 plus nukes were launched into the atmosphere. So now you might be thinking, well, if they did it 500 times, it must not be that bad. Now, obviously, I think the damage it caused, they're trying to cover up. We're going to get all into it, okay? And my own thoughts about it. But yeah, so atmospheric test says 500 plus. We have high altitude near space test says 9 to 10. Just by the way, total nuclear test ever all over, we're talking about into the ocean, on the just deserts, land, fucking nothing, Sahara deserts type shit. That's 2,000 plus. So yeah, sure, you can test out the nukes, whatever. They've tested out all their nukes, okay? Anyone worrying about nukes and shit, just, they got that shit on lock, okay? They figured it out. A lot of people did. If you just figure out how many countries have nukes, it's a little scary, okay, to know that there are people who can press a button and that will claim the lives of millions of people. But yeah, whatever. I cease on that. Let's just, look at it, okay? If you're thinking that, yeah, they did it 500 plus times into, near space, that fucking atmosphere, and that's, like, not bad, let's just, like, run it down, okay? So, obviously, yeah, nukes leave residue of radiation all over the place. They literally coated the Earth's ozone layer with a radiation layer, and they said it only lasted from a few months to a few years. Now, I believe it's actually fucking longer than that, because, like I said, I think they're going to try to downplay how fucking stupid of an idea it was. Like, I don't know, dude. This is like Chernobyl times like 1,000, bro. And we're wondering why we all have fucking cancer. It's because, maybe because they're launching nukes into the fucking space and this radiation, it stays up there. And where's this? It's not going to leave the atmosphere. It's not how gravity works. It's going to fucking fall, sink to the ground, winds carry it all across the fucking globe. And now we just have radiation fucking everywhere. Just like a little slim, dim, light coat of radiation everywhere. Now, I'm sure by now, sure, it probably mostly wore off. But, like, can we just think for a second, okay? No one in the fucking public had a say in this. I think most people in the public would say, yeah, let's not even try that. Let's not even see what happens because, yeah, they're saying we have a hole in the ozone layer today, and they're talking about global warming. They're talking about all this stuff. Now, sure, it's in the 60s, but I would argue that, we were not cavemen in the 60s, okay? Like, sometimes they try to make it out. But clearly, we had the ability to launch nukes into the fucking atmosphere. And now we're talking about how we're hurting the atmosphere so bad. Maybe don't launch fucking nukes at it, bro. Nuclear bombs. What do you think is going to happen? I'm surprised we're not all fucking dead. And, a lot of people had worries that this was going to cause a nuclear winter when they were doing it. But I mean, this is a weapon that can, and these are all, okay, sorry, let me just get through this, okay, step by step. This is a weapon that can literally level a fucking city. And that's some of the first nukes I think ever dropped. I'm not even sure if they tested. I think they might have tested it one time and somewhere here. I don't even know where, bro. I don't know all of my history. But whatever, dude. The nukes can level cities. And those are just the nukes at that time. That was what, like 45, 46? This is 20 years later, basically. They have better nukes. They have better bombs, basically, better killing machines. And they're just launching it into space. Skies lit up, okay? So if you're in Hawaii, because they're doing this shit in space, if you're in Hawaii, you could see like nighttime, the skies would light up like a new sun. People said it was like looking at another sun. People were like freaking out, and it's the 60s. They're trying to figure out what the fuck is happening, and then they're like, oh, they just launched a fucking nuke into space where we can see there's another sun right there. That's insane, bro. That's literally insane. And I believe the only two countries to do it was the USA and old Russia, okay, USSR. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, USA called it Operation Fishbowl. That feels so dystopian. Let's just launch nukes into space just to see what happens. Oh, we didn't light it on fire the first 5 times. Let's keep trying. But this is what's happening in the 60s, right? And now today we're all worried about global warming and stuff. I'm sure this has had to have some sort of fucking effect. Because yes, I don't know all the science. I'm not a physicist or whatever. I don't know everything, bro. But I do know that, yeah, it had effects on the atmosphere. I was just reading about it. I don't know fucking to what extent. But I feel like they were trying to downplay it so hard. I'm like, there's no way they launched fucking 500 plus nukes in space and there's no like there's just no consequence. Where they dropped nukes today on the ground, there is still like, you gotta like watch out like when you go in the area because of radiation. Fucking I don't even know, bro. It just stays around. Radiation doesn't just disappear. This shortened, so we have a lot of satellites. We have a lot of satellites in space. Okay, even back in the 60s, yeah, there was a lot of satellites in space, and yeah, it created a radiation layer basically in the ozone all around the globe. There's just a fucking a blanket of radiation above everybody's heads. Okay, so there's that. And yeah, they admitted, yeah, it drastically shortened the lifespan of all the satellites they had up there. And yeah, USSR had, I can't talk apparently. USSR had satellites in space. USA did, and I would probably say 30 to 40 other, if not more, countries had other shit in space as well. And all of those satellites, their lifespan got drastically decreased. And that's pretty much when they were like, okay, this is hurting both sides. Let's not do this. There was no concern about the fucking public safety, none of that shit. In Hawaii, people by the Pacific Ocean, they could literally see artificial auroras. You know, the aurora lights, the northern lights. They could see that shit in the fucking sky and places that is not where they're normally at. You know, people in Hawaii and shit are seeing that. People everywhere seeing auroras everywhere because these fucking nukes they launched in space. It's actually pretty fucking insane. And like I said, this is shit that if you didn't live through, your fucking grandparents probably did. At least you're definitely your great grandparents, bro. Unless your grandma's like 40. I don't think that's possible. But, you know, the 60s is not 100 years ago. Like, I feel like it's made out to be. It was 60 years ago. Your grandparents, if they're fucking 70, they were 10 when they're fucking drinking up radiation, bro. And no, I'm not like some super conspiracy theorist, Alex Jones type person. You know, I've been kind of heated in this video. This is really just me trying to tell you what happened in the 60s. And I just kind of feel like this is something that should be more known. You feel like in history class, this is something they would at least mention, but no, they don't mention it, bro. I guess it's not in the curriculum to tell you that, yeah, they launched 500 nukes over your head. But I don't want to say I'm a global warming denier or believer. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't know what to believe. What I do believe is things are always changing and the earth is heating up or cooling down, whatever. I don't know why people get so mad about that when honestly, most people probably don't know shit about what is actually going on. But yeah, I fucking... You know, like I said, I don't know anything about global warming, okay? I don't know if it's real or fake. All I know is that I just feel like it's always some sort of a high-ranking, you know, maybe not official, but some sort of like scientist or maybe a celebrity, you know, some people who feel like they're trying to push some sort of agenda talking about global warming when it's like the average person really can't do anything about it. The best thing that the average person is doing for global warming is not launching a nuke into space. So, I mean, we're already doing a way better job than our government in the 60s. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm blowing it out of proportion. I don't know if this is, you know, if it really was just nothing or if it was super, super more impactful than they're making out to be. I feel like I teeter on the side where, yeah, this is probably a problem that still persists some way today, you know, because apparently we're super lucky to have some sort of magnetic field and ozone and atmosphere so we can, you know, literally live. That's what helps keep us, you know, I don't need to explain to you the fucking atmosphere, but, you know, I would count us lucky. Now, in the 60s, I feel like, you know, maybe they don't know to the extent how all like the atmosphere works all that much. So maybe like just don't launch nukes at it. Like what is the point? You don't know if it's going to catch on fire or if not. Like, what are we doing? We're trying to blow a hole in the atmosphere and create a vacuum where we all get sucked out of space. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think anything like that would happen. But yeah, sorry. I feel like I want to go back to global warming. I just feel like, why are we even talking about global warming today? Like, the average person is killing the earth by driving a little car. And then if you drive an electrical car, you're saving the world. When no, bro, the factories and the mining that they do for those electrical cars are fucking like just as bad, if not worse. So that's a whole load of fucking shit, all BS. It's like they're talking about all this shit when it's like, bro, we are heating up the earth on our own with fucking nukes all the time. I mean, don't they get as hot as the surface of the fucking sun? Maybe that's something we shouldn't just be fucking launching all the time. But no, we got to make sure we can kill our opponents as quickly and as clean as possible, you know? Whatever. I feel like it's all fucked. We're low-key lucky that we are not living on a planet like Venus right now. It's not volcanoes everywhere and it's all lava. I feel like that was a real possibility. The second they launched the first nuke, what if they just fucked everything up? What if some chance they, because did I mention they had some failed launches? So some of them launched way closer to the service than they meant. And, I don't know the whole ins and outs behind detonating nukes and all this. Like I said, I'm not some huge conspiracy theorist, Alex Jones type guy. I just think that this is something that we should at least be told about. I feel like the average person should realize that, like, yeah, they launched nukes and just in our atmosphere and shit and like low orbit space about 60 years ago. Maybe there's still some effects happening because, like I said, it was 500 plus. Maybe there's still some shit that is just like left over from that. People were having people were having power outages and shit. But yeah, I don't know, bro. Nuclear winds drifting off into other parts of the planet. Like, radiation moves, bro. If you look at a Chernobyl radiation map, Chernobyl, that radiation basically went all over fucking Europe. It was not just in Chernobyl or that one little spot. It didn't just stay in that one spot. Now, sure, that one spot is still pretty fucked, but like I said, look at a radiation map. That shit's going to the Middle East, to fucking Africa, Upper Africa. Like, bro, it is like, and that's just from Chernobyl, like a nuclear power plant, okay? Remember, we're launching something called nukes. These things are going into the atmosphere, nuclear winds. We don't even know what we're doing. We're trying to light the atmosphere on fire. And this shit is going everywhere. And now we have, just like I said, a fucking probably some sort of background radiation everywhere that, I would argue probably wore off by now. But, I mean, does anybody even fucking know? And if they do know, are they going to tell you the truth? Obviously, it's a classic case of we investigated ourselves and we found nothing wrong type of deal here. Like, I don't know, bro. I feel like the whole thing, like I said, for the fucking 10th time, this is just all kind of fucked. I didn't agree to it. I wasn't even alive yet, but I mean, did your grandparents agree to it? Did your grandparents' parents agree to it? Did they sign off on some fucking being involved in Operation Fishbowl? No, dude, I don't want to be inside a little fucking fishbowl. I just want to live my life without having to worry about nukes killing everybody. But yeah, I know I've been ranting. I probably should mention early 60s, late 50s, like I said, about 60 years ago. At this point, probably a little longer, maybe 60, 70 years ago, no pun intended. But eventually, when they realized that their satellites were getting fucked, they signed a treaty where they were basically like, yeah, we can't do this anymore. We're fucking ourselves pretty bad. Oh shit, okay, I got it wrong. It says skies lit up as far away as Hawaii. Because I remember I saw somebody quoting, somebody who basically had something to say about it. They said it was like looking at another sun. So it says lit up as far away as Hawaii. So that just goes to show, like anywhere else, who knows what the skies were looking like when you just look up, there's a fucking nuke going off. Remember, these are weapons that leveled cities, bro. They leveled cities. I mean, these took millions of lives when they were used successfully. Now, we have a failed launch. Maybe one doesn't go off, or maybe some shit happens. I don't know. A pilot dies and they fly and they crash into like some land. Who knows? Like, so much shit could have went wrong, bro. Now, I want to have faith in the government, but it's just kind of fucking crazy, bro. When in the 60s, we're literally trying to light ourselves on fire. But, I feel like there's just a lot of history that I feel like isn't taught. Maybe we should start with the fact that they had, this is quick little fun facts, I guess. They had VR, virtual reality existed in the 60s. Okay, we had VR in the 60s. You search it up, dude. We had VR in the 60s. We had drones in World War II, bro. When they talk about World War II, probably a lot of people maybe think about trench warfare or the Blitzkrieg and all this shit. But maybe kamikaze planes flying in the shit, a whole bunch of crazy shit. But they had drones, bro. They had drones in fucking World War II. I mean, that should just go to show you that we're not as dumb as we make it out. Like, I guess I'm making it out to be. But at the same time, we're way fucking stupider than I'm making it out to be because we're launching nukes in space. Now, there's two options here, okay? We launch nukes in space. Either we kill everybody, or it's fine, nothing happens. It seems like we're still here, so it must not have been that bad. But like I said, on the other hand, there were long-term effects, bro. On the ozone atmosphere, we had the radiation. It was literally called the radiation belt around Earth. Now, I don't know if that was already a thing or if they created it, but they certainly contributed to it. So yeah, dude, I don't know. I feel like I'm insane or something. I mean, it's kind of just a crazy thing to learn about. But yeah, I've been ranting for like fucking 14, 15 minutes, so yeah, we're going to end it off there. And just remember, if you see a second sun in the sky, it might not be an asteroid. It might be a fucking nuke. No, I'm just kidding. They signed a treaty where they're supposedly they're not supposed to do it anymore or some shit. But, you never know. Fuck it.